Hi, Ben here and welcome back to the Craft Lab, and today we thought we'd show you a little bit of maintenance of your sharpening stones. Now, you've probably seen through various videos that we've done on axe maintenance and sharpening your bushcraft knife and things, we tend to use Japanese Waterstones, and our most sort of favoured stone is this what we call a combination stone, which has got two grits on there. Now this one I've probably been using for, I hate to think, probably at least 10 years. And this was my very first one. This was an original one. Now I dropped it a few times and it got broke, so it's a bit smaller. And I tend to keep that now for specialist tools like sharpening my axe or maybe sharpening my scythe, things like that. And it doesn't matter that it's obviously not flat and it's got these sort of concave areas at both ends. But if you've only got one sharpening stone and you're using it for both your knife and your axe and your draw knives and your chisels, every now and again you will find that if you've been using it for sharpening, say, your axe like this, and you've been using it like you would a sort of puck for sharpening an axe, you will find that you'll be putting excessive wear just in one place. So then if you then go to use that stone for sharpening a flat tool like a knife or a chisel, it'll be a really uneven surface. The other great thing about maintaining your stone is if you keep this nice and flat, you're constantly bringing up fresh grit as well. So the main advantage of the Waterstones being so soft is it's very easy for you to actually maintain it yourself. So what I tend to use is I tend to keep my old sanding discs. So this is off a simple little disc sander. Now when they're too worn to actually be used in the workshop, they're fantastic for maintaining your Waterstone. So I've just got an old piece of glass and I've stuck that sanding disc to that piece of glass. Obviously using glass, you know that you're going to get a really nice flat surface. So this is probably a worn maybe 60 grit, so it doesn't want to be too fine because obviously it's going to take you a long time to actually flatten the surface of the stone. And it helps if you actually keep that wet as well, because that's going to help remove all that sort of waste slurry that you're going to create. And if we just go a few passes on the stone, we'll do the 1000 grit side to start with. It's pretty horrible sound, but if you sort of try and do figure of 8 motions like that to try and put even wear on the whole of the surface of the stone and obviously on the whole surface of the sandpaper. Now if I just wash off that dirt, you can then use the sort of stone itself to show you the witness areas. So you can see these dark areas that are still appearing on the stone. Those are effectively our low spots. So we need to keep sanding away on our piece of glass until we get an even colour all over the surface of the stone, and then we basically know that we've made it truly flat. So we'll do a few more passes. It's a bit of a messy job, so you might want to do it outside. So a few more passes and you can start to see that we're getting a much more even colour now over the surface of the stone. So just a few little dark areas here where it's obviously just got a slight hollow on there. Now I'll do a few more passes to get rid of those, but one tip that I will give you is obviously when you flatten the surface of the stone, you create a very hard square edge on the surface of the stone. And you'll find that if you leave that 90-degree edge, it chips incredibly easy. So what I tend to do is actually, when I finish flattening the stone, is just hold it at a sort of 45-degree angle and just a few passes just to take off that hard edge. And I'll also do it on those ends as well. I'll even take those corners off because those are the bits that when you're storing it in your sort of container and things, they tend to get chipped anyway. So as you can see, that one's got chipped off there. So just taking your time and just knocking those corners off really helps. The other advantage of taking that slight radius over, if you're sharpening your bushcraft knife and you want to get right into the sort of plunge area of your Scandi grind, it means that that hard edge won't create that sort of nasty sort of sharp line on your knife as well. So that was the 1000 grit side. Obviously I need to do just a little bit more, but we'll just show you a little bit on this side. Obviously the finer the grit, you'll probably find that they're a little bit harder. What I've found is the coarser the grit, the stone, the softer they are, so they tend to wear even quicker. But you can see with this lighter coloured stone, a few passes look and we've pretty much got rid of any low spots. There's a few little dings in there, but not Nothing too major really. So a little bit of a messy job, but well worth doing. You don't need to do it every time you use the stone, but certainly every sort of once a month, something like that. It's not a bad idea to keep your stone in tip-top condition. So a few people have asked how we go about doing that, so hopefully that makes a little bit of sense and obviously shows you the very low-tech method of actually keeping your stone in perfect working order. So hope that's helpful, and tune in for some more workshop top tips.